Yeah, so good morning, everyone, and thanks a lot for joining, taking out time in the early weekend morning. I know कि IT वालों का ज़्यादा problem होता है, but anyway, good that people are taking out time for this session. So this is purely a introductory kind of session which I have kept, and I will keep a couple of more such sessions so that कि you also understand कि what the course is all about, why it is relevant for you, and even you should know me also कि मेरा क्या background है, from which all industry or technical background I am coming from. मेरा जो पढ़ाने का स्टाइल है ऐसा क्या है, what difference in this training session which are not there in the other training sessions, or maybe why not go for YouTube? There are so many videos which are going onto the YouTube and every places. तो वो सब जो भी आपके डाउट्स हैं ना, आई विल ट्राई टू क्लियर दैट आउट, each one of those doubts कि why this training is would be beneficial for you. Now, before I start with the session, I'm not very sure how many of you have read the today's headline in the newspaper. And one very prominent message I saw, apart from all the other the global uh, things which are happening, one very important message was from our Prime Minister, and he has emphasized a lot on the startups to focus on two main things. One is the AI, and second is the manufacturing. This is exactly which I was talking to one of my colleagues some day back. Ki manufacturing is is going to be the main focus area in the next 5 years, and AI ये तो रहेगा ही रहेगा. Now, one another scenario I would just mention is one of the India's largest IT company. They laid off thousands and thousands of employees from their organization, and we were thinking that it's all about cost cutting, which I mentioned at the very beginning to some of my colleagues that it's not cost cutting. It's a restructuring of company's business objective, the direction, because now the company is understanding that if they have to sustain in the market, they have to learn AI, and very specifically generative AI. And this becomes whatever I mentioned at that time, it became a fact because I think 2 3 days back in the newspaper, it was one full page ad from the same company. They are hiring in bulk. They are hiring in bulk, but all the requirements that they have mentioned there, it's all AI related. So you can just imagine they have wiped out thousands and thousands of employee, which they felt they are not they are not doing something, they are not adding value to the organization, they are not aligned to the business objective which the organization is focusing on. And now they are getting fresh mindset from the industry. And that's the trend which is not there for that one single IT industry or IT company. It is going to be across all the IT companies. अगर आज आपके यहाँ नहीं हो रहा है, tomorrow it is going to be. It's everywhere. I don't want to create a sense of nervousness or anything, but I always say don't focus on sustaining. Anybody can sustain in the industry, in any company. Always focus on excellence. आपको excellence पे focus करना पड़ेगा. You have to make yourself indispensable. Now, coming to my background, कि मेरा क्या background है and why I think I can add a value in this teaching, in this training program is I am being in IT industry for almost it's going to be 26 years. Many of my batchmates are also here in this call, and आप जितना ज़्यादा आपका एक्सपीरियंस होता है, द मोर यू आर यू से योर सेल्फ दैट आई हैव दिस मच ऑफ एक्सपीरियंस, द मोर इट बिकम्स अ लाइबिलिटी. फिर लोग ऐसे देखते हैं कि फिर तो ये तो अब किसी काम का नहीं है, बिकॉज इट हैज़ दैट पर्सन हैज़ ऑलरेडी क्रॉस्ड 15-20 years of experience, and his focus is now not on the IT side or on the tech side. And that's one thing which kind of differentiate me, because I keep on working and the organizations starting from Satyam, EDS, Sapient, DXC, and then Amazon Web Services. Um, some of them are very very aggressive organizations, and that gave me a lot of understanding that how you can work in a high pressure kind of environment. Second thing, I always keep on upgrading myself whenever the industry changes. I keep on changing. I started my AWS journey itself while in DXC, and that was in 2014, January of 2014. So you can just imagine that at a time when nobody was even aware of what AWS is or what cloud is, at that time I started working on that project. It was not meant for me to work on that project, but it's again that you have to be proactive, you have to identify the opportunity, learn it on yourself or take a help from somebody else. At that time तो कोई था भी नहीं बताने वाला. There was not even a single person to even review my architecture. But that's how I started learning AWS. Moved from architect, joined even Sapient joined in 2007 when I had experience of 7 years. जनरली 7 साल में आर्किटेक्ट बनना अपने आप में, आई एम नॉट बोस्टिंग माई सेल्फ, बट इट्स अ बिग थिंग, एंड दैट इज ऑल्सो इन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन लाइक सेपियंट. तो वहाँ से स्टार्टेड दिस होल थिंग. हैंड्स ऑन मैंने कभी छोड़ा ही नहीं. आई नेवर लेफ्ट कि कोई कोड खुद से करके देखना है. इवन वी हैड अ ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन प्लस मॉडर्नाइजेशन टूल इन DXC which does the transformation from mainframe to Java. I worked on that product also. I worked for almost 1.5 years in that product. While I was not supposed to, ये मेरा job profile था ही नहीं. I was there as an advisor into the enterprise architect group. लेकिन करना है तो करना है. That's the thing. And AWS is a very kind of total different organization altogether. ये सारे organization एक तरफ है, AWS एक तरफ है. Because यहाँ पर तो we have to, and there is a AI conclave coming out. It's scheduled next week. I have to travel to Bangalore, where we showcase different demos. We kind of gamify the demos. We showcase it there, and I keep on doing it for last almost 3-4 years. In every AWS summit, you will find me there in that builder zone. In AI Conclave, you find me there. In CIO Enclave, you find me there. In Bharat Mandapam, there was a Bharat Mobility Fair. So everywhere, wherever you find opportunity, it's like for everyone within AWS. People come and build a demo, and we keep on doing the hands-on kind of thing. Now, for the last I think 2 years, all our demos are around generative AI. So all the POCs, all the demos that we are doing, POCs भी हम लोग को खुद करना होता है. If we are suggesting, if we are advising a customer on doing something, that also we have to do the POC on our own first, क्योंकि आपको, because you are recognized as a trusted advisor to the customer. Customer आपकी तरफ देखता है, वो बोलता है कि now you are my trusted advisor, right? तो आपके पास भी उतना confidence होना चाहिए to suggest what to do, what not to do. Where the industry is going. That's another trend where we advise the CXOs. And let me tell you, because I work with majority of the CXOs in manufacturing industry, not only they are my customer, my account, but I also lead the manufacturing TFC within AWS. So manufacturing के लिए एक अलग से हमारा technical field community होता है. There is a technical field community, kind of community for every other technology or functional domain. Like retail के लिए है, manufacturing के लिए है, automotive के लिए है, then there are for analytics, artificial intelligence, all those places. For manufacturing, I lead it from India chapter, and I work very closely with our global team on the manufacturing side. And you can just imagine कि manufacturing जो है, going into the depth of the manufacturing, I made almost 24-25 visits in the last 2 years to the different customer plants. आप majority of the tire manufacturing आप देख लो, majority of the process industry देख लो, majority of the home appliance organization factory जो companies देख लो इंडिया में, मैंने उनका ट्रैवल किया हुआ है, आई हैव ट्रैवल टू देयर प्लांट, आई हैव सीन हाउ द प्लांट्स आर वर्किंग, हाउ द मशीन्स आर वर्किंग देयर। और ये करना होता है, एंड इफ यू हैव टू लर्न द थिंग्स, you have to do it. Then only you will get the confidence of, and then you add the value to your customer. मैं कोई किताब से पढ़ के if I go and advise to a CXOs, they will kind of never listen to us. So ये सब जो चीज़ें हैं ना, ये सब जो स्किल है, इससे बेनिफिट क्या होगा, आपको क्या बेनिफिट होगा कि जब भी मैं कोई भी एक कॉन्सेप्ट का लूँगा, एंड आई विल शोकेस यू टुडे ऑल्सो, उस कॉन्सेप्ट में आई विल ऐड द कॉन्टेक्स्ट। कॉन्टेक्स्ट सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ है। कॉन्टेक्स्ट जो है वो जनरेटिव एआई में भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, एंड कॉन्टेक्स्ट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट when you explain something, and that's the USP of this training program which is going to happen. I have divided this training program into two phases, stage 1 and stage 2, and that is for the reason that many of you may not be very much interested in doing the hands on. आपको लगेगा कि क्या करना है hands on में, तो I am the program director, I am the delivery manager, बेली तो this is good enough. But my recommendation would be कि आप दोनों करो. I have kept it like that. Even if you see within AWS, even our sales counterpart, they do the hands on. Many of them do not do it. लेकिन काफ़ी लोग हैं जो कि hands on करते हैं, एंड द रीज़न इज़ कि इट गिव्स यू द क्लैरिटी। आप जब कोई कॉन्सेप्ट को बताओगे, एक्सप्लेन करोगे टू योर मैनेजमेंट, इट गिव्स यू द क्लैरिटी, इट गिव्स अ लॉट ऑफ क्लैरिटी कि आप क्या बता रहे हो। द मोर सिंप्लीफाइड वे यू एक्सप्लेन इट, द मच क्लैरिटी दैट यू हैव गॉट फ्रॉम दैट कॉन्सेप्ट, और वो जब आप हैंड्स ऑन करोगे तो वो आपको मिलेगा। जनरेटिव एआई में सबसे जो बढ़िया चीज़ है वो ये है कि इट डजेंट रिक्वायर यू टू बी अ डेटा साइंटिस्ट। आपको डेटा साइंटिस्ट होने का ज़रूरत नहीं है। मॉडल्स आर ऑलरेडी ट्रेंड, ये ट्रेंड मॉडल्स हैं, आपको ट्रेनिंग नहीं करना है, एंड आई विल गिव यू सम एग्जांपल्स डाउन द लाइन इन दिस सेशन इटसेल्फ। लेकिन ये सबसे बड़ा जो एडवांटेज है ऑफ गोइंग इनटू द जनरेटिव एआई, और जो ट्रेंड है, आई कैन टेल यू, आप मेरा फिर से ये वर्ड रख लो, इन द नेक्स्ट 1 year very few limited use case would be implemented using artificial intelligence or machine learning. मशीन लर्निंग भी अब जो है धीरे धीरे वो हो जाएगा ऑब्सोलेट, एंड जो डेटा साइंटिस्ट है दे वुड बी वर्किंग इन वेरी स्पेसिफिक एंड नीश एरिया, जो बहुत ही नीश एरिया है जहाँ की जो मॉडल्स हैं वो लोग प्री ट्रेंड नहीं है। आई कैन गिव यू एन एग्जाम्पल। So one of the home appliance organization in India, they are the largest. They asked us that can we have a large language model that can generate the IC diagram. उनके जो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स, उनके जो चिपसेट्स जो वो अपने स्मार्ट एसीज में, स्मार्ट वॉशिंग मशीन ये सब में लगाते हैं, they were saying कि it takes a lot of time for us to design those circuit diagrams. Now, if I give you the requirement through the prompt, can the LLM generate it? Now, the answer was no. At that point of time, the answer was no, that no, we can't be able to generate it. Now, you'd ask me, ki reason kya? What is the reason? Why we are saying that the LLM, which are trained in so much of data, why can't they generate these IC diagrams? Right? It's a simple physics. Why can't they do that? The reason is these IC diagrams are very much proprietary of the organization. They are not available publicly. And that's the reason these LLMs, they are not capable of generating the IC diagram. Another very good example I will tell you. Take the example of manufacturing. Now, in the manufacturing, you may have heard about predictive maintenance. You predict when the system is going to fail. We call it as remaining useful life. आपका एक पंप चल रहा है, एक मोटर चल रहा है, and the machine can, and this ML model, it can predict कि after how many days or how many hours this machine is going to fail based on certain criteria like current, voltage, vibration, temperature, all those kind of things. Now, this kind of ML models are built by very specialized organization like Bosch has got one very good solution. Hitachi has got. Now, there are many other also who has got this kind of solution. Why can't LLM do this? Again, the same reason. Because LLM doesn't have the data available to work on this kind of physics model. Physics model is not available for the LLM. Agar in future if physics models also become available, probably they would be available and you don't need it, means you don't need to even build the model of your own. So my point is that anybody who has not even worked on AI machine learning, they can start working on the generative AI. And that is one of the reason this is the very first time you are seeing in the industry, everybody is saying that you have to understand generative AI. There is a reason why industry is saying everybody has to understand, because it is going to be the most important part of your work day to day. अगर आप developer हो, you need to have a tool that generate the code. I can tell you, I am right now using one of such tool from AWS side, which is called as Kiro. And if I have to build a POC, the Kiro does everything for me from the application development perspective. The only thing that what I have to bring forward as a value here, that I need to tell Kiro what exactly Kiro has to do. The more specific my prompts are to the Kiro, Kiro would be able to build the complete application for me, the complete application, end-to-end complete application. And I can show you the demo also. And it's all built using the tool. I have not done even a single coding. Even if I tell you to Kiro that, oh, see my face, it's not able to detect the sleeping posture very correctly. Even when the eyes are blinking, it is saying it as that I am sleeping. Now Kiro will generate the complete first the functional spec of this issue. That okay, I think this is are the probable reason why you are not able to see it as a correct face detection posture. And then it give me the design also that okay, these are the weightage which I think would be changing for your model. And then you go and then it go and implement it, fix it. Now what I am bringing the context is I am suggesting to Kiro whether you have to use media pipe, whether you should use TensorFlow, whether you should use OpenCV, whether it could be a client server based kind of application, or whether I am doing the complete analysis onto the client side scripting. ये जो intelligence है, this is something which I am bringing. Now, anywhere you see, do I need to know the fundamental concepts of different types of model training and anything? No, I don't need it. And that's the reason this is very much important कि every stream of people from any other background up, whether you are from project management, whether you are a technical lead, whether you are a developer, whether you are a business analyst, आप किसी भी background से हो, you should know it. एक बार आप उसको समझ जाओगे, आपका fundamental अच्छा हो जाएगा, clear हो जाएगा, then you can start working on it. So that's the thing. Now coming back to the course structure. Now on the course structure, I will not go into the detail of it, but there is a Google form. I will show you at the end of this session. There is a QR code also which is available, and it's available in my channel also. But I will just show it after this at the end of this session. उसको आप स्कैन करोगे, you will go to the Google form and you will see the complete detailed the course syllabus which are there. But let me just quickly go through that, जो course syllabus है. But before that, because I have spoken a lot of things, any question, anything, feel free to ask me. I'm just keeping it open for you guys to ask me, and in the meantime, I will share the this course structure also. Anybody has any question?
So one question would be that whoever the viewers are over here, should they focus on generative AI area or the agentic AI or AI agents area?
Yeah, that's a very good point, Rajni. So I will go through that. So just after finishing the course structure, then that's the exactly one slide which I'm going to talk about it. That what exactly is the trend and where we have to focus on.
Sure. Thank you.
Any other question? Okay. So I hope everybody is able to see the screen. It's a GenAI app. This is exactly the Google form which I'm talking about. So there are two stages. One is the level 200, and it's again a AWS standard. We call it as level 200, where we focus on the what part of the concept. And then we have the stage 2, which is the level 300, where we focus on the how part of the concept. Now both what and how, in my view, they both are important for everyone. And as I already discussed and mentioned, that you don't need to be a data scientist or a hardcore developer, and it gives you a lot of clarity. But it's all again on your wish. I have given the fee structure also very much dependent on whether you want to do just one of them. If you want to do the level 300, that also you can do if you already are aware of the level 200 thing. So that also an option for you. You can pay the fee individually for both the courses, or you pay it combined. That's also fine. I will come to the fee on the later on time, but let's focus on the classes and the topic first. So if you see the level 200, it's all focusing on the concept. So we are talking about the foundation model. I'm not very sure how many of you are aware about the differences. So there is a concept of language model, then came the concept of large language model, then we have multi-model, and then we have foundation model. So these are the different nomenclature which are there, and if you understand it, you better communicate with your customer, with your other colleagues as well. What's the ecosystem of this LLM onto the AWS? That's very important. And whenever I'm talking about LLM, it's specific to AWS. Now, when we go to the agentic AI kind of thing, the agent-based solution and everything, that time we would be talking about strands and MCP and those things. Now, strands and MCPs are the concept which you can deploy in your local machine as well. You don't need to have Bedrock from the AWS side. Now, why we recommend Bedrock? There is a different concept, different reason altogether. I will not go into detail of it. But for your ease, I am saying that there are many things in the lab also that we can do directly onto the machine, onto the laptop. But the concept, the services, if we talk about, it would be very specific to AWS side. Then we will be talking about the building blocks, because I'm assuming many of you are not from AWS background. So whatever the things are required, because the data has to be there, right? So data has to be stored somewhere. So I will talk about those parts, those necessary areas of AWS. So I will not go into the in-depth concept of networking or security and those kind of things, but at least जो S3 है, databases है, RDS है, whichever services are minimally required, we will go through that. I have already mentioned them here, and this covered the complete ecosystem which are required to develop a full-fledged generative AI application. Then the agentic AI. What is agentic AI? How it looks like? Why the industry is looking at agentic AI as a next upcoming thing? What are the building blocks of agentic AI? What all use cases are there around agentic AI? Those things we are talking about. And also from a AWS perspective, what all services are offered by AWS to implement agentic AI and deploy the solution. And finally, the responsible AI. This is the one of the most critical part of it. आप जब बात करोगे कस्टमर से, when you discuss it, even when implementation and everything, compliance and responsible AI becomes very important. Guardrail क्या होता है? How do we configure it? So what part of the guardrail, everything we will be talking about in this class 200 level session. Then जो स्टेज 2 है, That is the advanced level 300 session, which is very much focused on the how part of it. And जितने भी concepts पे हम लोग बात करेंगे, we would be doing the lab also on those concepts. So you would require the AWS account for that one when you start building the solution, but the costs are not much, are not high. इवन फॉर आवर एंटरप्राइज कस्टमर जो लोग चैटबॉट या उस टाइप का सोल्यूशन इम्प्लीमेंट करते हैं ऑन द जेन ए आई, even they do not incur the revenue wise, it's not that much of the thing for simple use cases. Yes, if you keep on running and there are a lot of uses of the LLMs, then the uses may go up, but that I don't think that could be a scenario here. तो यहाँ पर आप जो है थोड़ा बहुत आपको ट्राई करके देखना है. यू हैव टू ट्राई इट आउट एंड देन सी इट. सो इन दैट एस्पेक्ट आई डोंट थिंक इट वुड बी अ प्रॉब्लम. एंड सेकेंड थिंग इज दैट इट्स ऑल पे एज यू गो. आप जितना यूज़ करोगे उतना ही आप पे करते हो. तो इट्स नॉट इवन आवरली बेसिस और 24 आवर्स, वैसा कुछ नहीं होता है. देयर इज़ नो सच थिंग. इट्स ऑल अबाउट दैट you suppose you send just one prompt to your LLM, you only pay for that one prompt for the input and the output. So that way, if you see, you don't really have to bother about, like for example what it happens with EC2, the VM virtual machine. Once you provision the virtual machine, it keeps on running and then you have to pay for it. But I can tell you many of the organization today, one of the cost optimization that they do onto the AWS usage is for all the development and QA environment. They just keep it running for 8 to 9 hours. After they stop it, they have a script that they run and it stops all the servers. So आपके लिए भी कुछ करना नहीं है. If you are not running, if you just use it for 1 hour, 2 hours, just use it for 2 hours and then stop it. This is only for EC2 I am saying. S3 का कॉस्ट बहुत मिनिमल आता है, वेरी वेरी मिनिमल S3 कॉस्ट इज कमिंग. और जो LLM का है, आप जितना उसको टोकन दोगे इनपुट एंड आउटपुट, उसके बेसिस पे वो करता है. एंड दैट ऑल्सो इट्स वेरी वेरी नॉमिनल. देर इज नॉट मच ऑफ द कॉस्ट विच कुड बी देयर. बट द पॉइंट इज कि अगर आप इवन इफ यू सी द फी स्ट्रक्चर एंड द काइंड ऑफ कॉस्ट विच आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट, एक छोटे बच्चे का जो स्कूल का फ़ी है उससे भी कम आपका रहेगा. So that's also for just for a 1 month fee that you are paying there. So cost wise, don't be so much concerned about it. The main thing is that the moment you build your skill, your market value goes up. यहाँ पर हम लोग prompt engineering का we will go into detail of it and we are doing the lab onto the prompt engineering because prompt engineering is very very important. आप किस तरह से prompt लिख रहे हो, आप कैसे उसको describe कर रहे हो, and this is not only for the simple use cases. Even when we go for agentic AI kind of use cases, prompt engineering is very very important. बहुत important है prompt engineering. आप जितना सटीक लिखोगे, the more precise, the more accurate is your prompt, the more better you get the result. So this topic are very important. Then we go into the embeddings. You must have heard a lot about embeddings and vectors and knowledge bases and those kind of things, and even RAG and everything. Last previous year, and even before that, 23-24 I would say was all about RAG. हम लोग हर जगह RAG की बात करते थे to all the customers. 25 was all about agentic AI. 26 is actually autonomy. So RAG is there. It's not dead. I'm not saying that RAG is dead, but RAG is there. Agentic AI has a bit taken over the RAG concept. So but it's important that you know RAG so that कि आप जो है you can decide between when to use RAG, when to use the agents. So that's the reason we will go with the and learn the RAG based approach and everything. And then class 7 onwards, it's all on the agentic AI. And if you are not concerned about the cost, you can use the Amazon Bedrock Agent Core. Agent Core में there are some free credits also which are available from AWS side. Some free tier are available. So that would cover your some part of your cost from there. Knowledge base, I just touch a bit on that. अब ये ना आपके ऊपर भी बहुत डिपेंड करता है on that. I'm a guide for you. मैं आपको एक गाइडेंस दूंगा, बट आप उसके ऊपर कितना काम कर रहे हो ना, that's all dependent on you. And I can give you the example of my son itself. He knows much more than what I know on this Gen AI thing. Knowledge base में उसने Pinecone, he found out that Pinecone, if I go with the Pinecone based knowledge base implementation, that would be cheaper to implement as compared to what AWS is offering with the OpenSearch or our RDS Aurora PostgreSQL databases. So it's again very much dependent on the individual, but there are a lot of price comparison available there to build the knowledge base. Knowledge base, one of the prominent pricing component hota hai. It's one of the most prominent pricing component, and that is the reason I was saying that for delivery manager, for project manager also, and technical lead architects, these kind of things are very important. Even though it's a level 300, क्योंकि you have to understand it कि मेरा, if I am submitting a proposal, in that proposal what is my solution? Is my solution going to utilize OpenSearch serverless, or going to utilize your PostgreSQL PG vector, or Pinecone, or some OpenSearch open source knowledge base? क्योंकि सबका कॉस्टिंग डिफर करता है, सबका कॉस्टिंग बहुत डिफरेंस है, मतलब इवन 30-40% द डिफरेंस इज देयर इन द कॉस्ट, दैट मच ऑफ पैरिटी इज देयर. बट अगेन देर इज अ डिफरेंस इन द काइंड ऑफ परफॉर्मेंस ऑल्सो. आपका जो लेटेंसी है, परफॉर्मेंस है, इस पर भी डिफरेंस है. सो वंस यू अंडरस्टैंड दिस होल थिंग, यू ट्राई इट आउट ऑन योर ओन. आप जितना खुद से ट्राई करोगे, यू विल सी कि एग्जैक्टली विच वन इज राइट, विच वन इज रॉन्ग, and that is going to help you at your job when you have to decide ki which of this knowledge base solution or component I am going to implement for my project. So from that aspect, these kind of things are very very important. Now class 9, class 12, ये सब जो सारा जो चीज़ है, if you see agentic AI के जो ecosystem है, when you talk about the closed loop implementation and those kind of things, integration with your enterprise applications, model context protocols, which are very important from a middleware folks who are from the middleware domain. We started with the SOAP, we started with RPC, we started with gRPC and those kind of things, XML RPC and those kind of things. फिर हमारे पास SOAP आया, we started working on the SOAP. Then हमारे पास REST API आया, we started working on the REST. Now it's MCP. सो मिडिलवेयर फोक्स को अगर ये पता ही नहीं रहेगा कि व्हाट इज एमसीपी, हाउ डू दे वर्क ऑन इट? एवरी प्रोडक्ट, एवरी एंटरप्राइजेस आर नाउ अडॉप्टिंग एमसीपीज. AWS के जो मैक्सिमम APIs हैं, सर्विस APIs हैं, दे आर नाउ ट्रांसफॉर्म्ड एंड अवेलेबल एज अ MCP. SAP के काफ़ी सारे APIs जो हैं, सर्विसेज जो हैं, दे आर नाउ अवेलेबल एज अ MCPs. Salesforce के बहुत सारे. So every enterprise applications also, you look at it, they are building MCPs for their API endpoints. So as a middleware, as an enterprise architect, lead architect also, you have to understand this MCP concept. ये क्यों काम कर? Why do you even need it? That's the very first place. So those are the concepts which are very much important to know, to understand it. And hands-on lab is there. I'm again telling you, hands-on lab is there for every such scenario. We have also, I have designed one session which is totally talking about the use cases. Just talk about the use cases. As a AWS architect, we host session, we host workshop, we host hackathon for our customers. और एक session में 60 लोग, 60 participants, they come in one single session. And I can tell you, when we start the session and the kind of use cases that we get from the audience, the quality of those use cases, and by the end of the session, when we start getting the use cases, ideas from those participants, quality में major difference हो जाता है. क्योंकि now you understand कि which use case is really relevant and really suitable to implement agentic AI. आपको वो ROI देगा कि नहीं देगा? Even do you want to even go and talk to your customer about it? So those kind of things are very important, and that's the reason I have added one topic totally talking about that. Hackathon style जो model which we implement very much in AWS, I want to do it here also. इसके आप use case लो. Even if you want to do your own use case, you can take your own use case also. And I will provide you all the हेल्पिंग मटेरियल कि आप कहाँ से रेफरेंस ले सकते हो, कहाँ से आप कोड को ले सकते हो. यू डोंट हैव टू राइट द कोड फ्रॉम द स्क्रैच, एंड देन you have to build it. There would be 2 sessions. One, we will talk about it, we will ideate it, क्या यूज केस रहेगा, what all logistics would be required, what all data would be required, and then there would be another where you would be presenting it. आप उसको build करोगे over a period of 1 week, and then you present it into the final session. और ये सब आप जब आप कर लोगे ना, दैट्स अ काइंड ऑफ कॉन्फिडेंस दैट यू विल गो एंड टॉक टू एनीवन. जब आपके अंदर वो कॉन्फिडेंस आएगा, वो नॉलेज आएगा ना, आपको किसी को जाकर बोलना नहीं पड़ेगा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में दैट नाउ आई नो जनरेटिव एआई. पीपल विल अंडरस्टैंड एंड दे विल कम टू नो अबाउट इट. From my experience, I'm kind of telling you all this kind of things. So this is the structure of both the courses, stage 1 and stage 2. Any question on the course structure? Feel free to ask a question. This is just introductory. जितना आपका doubt है, don't leave any doubt uncleared in your mind. क्योंकि I expect that you all would be joining. आप लोग सब join करोगे session, and don't bother about the fees also. I'm charging it only because of some courtesy kind of thing. There is a lot of effort that goes into building the material and preparing for the session and taking out time over the weekend and everything. लेकिन मैंने I'm telling it, and I have written, it's written there also in the Google form, is that if you are not happy with the training, if you think that मेरा जो पढ़ाने का स्टाइल है, जो कॉन्सेप्ट जो मैं बात कर रहा हूँ, वो that is not very much relevant or beneficial for you, you ask for the refund. No question asked, I will just refund it at any point of time. Even just one day before the training, if you say I am not at all happy with your training, give me back my money, I will give it back. There is no problem into that. So from that aspect, do not have any fear in your mind कि मेरा पैसा फंस जाएगा और मैं कुछ सीख नहीं पाऊंगा या मैं कोप अप नहीं कर पाऊंगा, पेस काफ़ी हो जाएगा ट्रेनिंग का, तो मैं फिर टाइम निकाल नहीं पाऊंगा. वो सब कोई भी, देयर इज नो सच सिनेरियो विच वुड हैपन. इफ दैट इज द केस, यू जस्ट आस्क फॉर द रिफंड. एनी क्वेश्चन?
So if someone is not into AWS yet, what kind of minimum preparedness is required?
See, I can tell you, Amit, and again, this is one of the customer, without naming, but I can just give you their business. They are based out of Udaipur. They are into the smart metering business. Their smart meter are deployed in Bihar, and that customer, we hosted the workshop and hackathon for them. There were 30 participants. Most of them were technical leads. They have not invited their developers into that session. They are saying that it would be too much overwhelming to accommodate all of them there. 30 tech leads, none of them had a background of AWS. They have not worked on AWS earlier, except for 2 or 3 folks. First day, they attended the workshop. Second day, they did the hackathon. And we provided them some of the workshop material, some of the ready to use code, source code, everything. But they did the hackathon on their use case, on their specific use cases which they are planning to implement. By evening, they presented it. All the workshops were running, they presented it. So that's the reason that whatever the minimal services and those things are required, I will provide you the concept and the understanding of those services, how to configure them, how to work with them. Other than that, you don't need to know AWS completely. And that's the beauty of generative AI.
Okay, thank you.
Any other question? आप लोग पूछो, जो भी डाउट है ना, जस्ट आस्क मी. आई वुड बी हैप्पी टू आंसर इट. हिंदी में पूछना है हिंदी में पूछ लो, इंग्लिश पूछना इंग्लिश पूछ लो. Other language, I'm not very sure about. Any other question? Okay. See, I wanted to start it on 25th, but many people are saying ki do not start on 25th. Let's have one or two more introductory sessions, similar session like this, to let more and more people join and understand the course and everything. And even 26th is a Monday, which is a holiday. So people are saying that many of the participants would not be available. So इसके लिए जो है ना, I would be slightly delay the starting date for the actual class, but there would be one or two more session like this. I will host maybe 24th and 25th, both the days. If you know your colleagues who would be interested, please invite them, please tell them, socialize with them. This Google form, I will just share the QR code also. Just give it to them. Ask them to fill up. Even the guys who have joined today's session, I'm not sure if everybody has filled up their detail in the Google form. Please fill up the detail, because I am preparing a WhatsApp group where I share all the updates and everything. So please fill up this Google form. Now, in terms of the fees, I have kept it very nominal. As I was saying earlier कि एक छोटे बच्चे का जो monthly fees होता है स्कूल का, वो भी इससे ज़्यादा होता है. So this is for the complete course. This is not a monthly fees. So that's why I mentioned it. Stage 1, it's just 10,000. Stage 2, 25,000. If you combine and register both the things together, it's 30,000. So 5,000 discount I'm giving if you register both at the same time. And even if you register before 20th, which I will make it 25th, if you register before 25th, you can avail further discount of 20%. So this 20% is further on top of this 30,000. So अगर आप ये दोनों साथ में करते हो, stage 1 and stage 2 साथ में करते हो, तो you would be paying 24,000. Now 24,000 for I think there are 17 classes for I think there are 17 classes for stage 2 and 6 for stage 1. So total 23-24 classes are there. And you can just imagine that for 3 months I'm asking for this fees, which is nothing. But anyway, there are apprehensions which always be there, and I respect that apprehension. Everybody has their own constraint and everything. So I'm not asking to go and do it now. If you want, you can attend. You can get clarity on some more classes. Totally fine. There is no problem. Let me just share you that QR code also. Just give me 1 minute while I'm sharing it. Actually, I didn't kept it ready, but yeah. Can someone please scan it and say if the Google form they are able to open the Google form? Anyone? Amit, maybe if you can just try this out.
Yes, sir. It's
Yes,
okay.
yes, can open.
Okay, ठीक है. Good. So now, any other question before I go? Actually, just give you a idea of how I'm going to teach. And Rajneesh had asked this question. It's a very nice question. Actually, I prepared around that line also. I wanted to talk about that area itself.
So, sir, एक और क्वेश्चन था
हाँ,
इसमें
हाँ.
लाइक लेवल 300 में लाइक हैंड्स ऑन कोडिंग कितना इम्पोर्टेंट होगा?
देखो, it depends on you. I will answer it in that way. It depends on you. And why I'm telling it, because today if I have to make a generative AI, and I'm actually doing it for the AI conclave जो builder zone की बात कर रहे हैं ना, तो there is one of my customer, they had a solution around fleet management, fleet operations. और उनका जो प्रोडक्ट है ना, दैट प्रोडक्ट इज कि अगर ड्राइवर को नींद आ गया, इफ ड्राइवर इज हैविंग डिजीनेस और फीलिंग स्लीपी और इवन स्लीपिंग ऑन द रोड वाइल ड्राइविंग, या aggressive है, if that driver is very much aggressive and all those things. From the using autonomous agentic AI system now, we are going to control that fleet. We are going to inform, we are going to buzz the driver कि आपका प्रॉब्लम है, उसमें बजर रहेगा, उसका फ़ोन बजेगा, रिंग होगा, या अगर वो कुछ भी नहीं कर पा रहा है तो उसके आसपास में कोई अगर ट्रक जा रहा है which is part of the similar fleet management system, we inform them also. And this whole thing right now, which was happening earlier manual, this is whole they are autonomous, they are kind of automating it, and it's all becoming autonomous through agentic AI. Now इसका जो मैंने जो किया है ना, I just gamified it for the builder, for the AI conclave. If you are in Bangalore, maybe you can try to register. It's on 21st. It's on 22nd of January. I will share that hotel detail also, which is in Whitefield. But in that builder zone, the way I am gamifying it, कि मैंने क्या किया, मैंने दो अलग अलग applications बनाए हैं. One application is a simulated virtual car track system. तो कार का एक ट्रैक है एंड यू आर ड्राइविंग द कार. तो एक जो प्लेयर होगा ना, वन पार्टिसिपेंट फ्रॉम द बूथ, दैट पर्सन वुड बी ड्राइविंग द कार. तो हमने जॉयस्टिक दिया है एंड यूजिंग द जॉयस्टिक यू आर ड्राइविंग द कार, यू आर कंट्रोलिंग द डायरेक्शन, स्पीड एंड एवरीथिंग ऑफ द कार. जो दूसरा हमने एप्लीकेशन बनाया है उसमें हमने एजेंटिक एआई को यूज़ किया है. हमने उसमें फेशियल जो एक्सप्रेशन है उसको कैप्चर किया है. एंड इफ़ द आईज आर क्लोज एंड इफ इट डिटेक्ट्स के यू आर स्लीपिंग और यू आर वेरी एग्रेसिव, आपका माउथ ओपन है, आईज भी वाइड ओपन है, then it raises the IoT event, and that IoT event triggers the agent, the multi-agentic system, the पूरा workflow को वो trigger करता है, and it then takes a decision कि करना क्या है गाड़ी के साथ, what exactly has to be done. और अभी जो हमने गेमिफाई किया उसमें हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं कि हम लोग कार को साइड लेके जा रहे हैं ट्रैक के, एंड वी आर स्टॉपिंग द कार. तो दो पार्टिसिपेंट है, एक पार्टिसिपेंट जो है विच इज गिविंग द एक्सप्रेशन एंड अदर पार्टिसिपेंट इज कंट्रोलिंग द, इज काइंड ऑफ राइडिंग द कार. बट जैसे ही एक्सप्रेशन को चेंज कर रहे हो आप, यू आर मेकिंग मोर एग्रेसिव या स्लिपिंग, तो कार का जो कंट्रोल है उसको जो है मॉडल, जो एजेंट है, एआई एजेंट है, वो उसको ओवरराइड करके उसको कंट्रोल कर रहा है. तो अगर पार्टिसिपेंट उसको ड्राइव करने का कोशिश भी कर रहा है, ही इज नॉट एबल टू ड्राइव, ही और सी इज नॉट एबल टू ड्राइव इट. और ये सारा जो है हमने इसमें 60 to 70% जो है वो हमने जेन एआई को यूज़ किया है जनरेट करने के लिए, पूरे एप्लीकेशन को बिल्ड करने के लिए. सो इट्स अ लॉन्ग आंसर टू योर क्वेश्चन, बट आई वांटेड टू एक्सप्लेन इट कि अगर आपको डेवलप करना है, यू डोंट नीड टू बी अ डेवलपर. बट हाँ, अगर आपको इंटरेस्ट है कि नहीं मैं रिएक्ट का एप्लीकेशन खुद लिखूंगा, मैं वेब सॉकेट का एप्लीकेशन खुद लिखूंगा, क्योंकि इसमें क्या है कि जो इन्फ्रेंसिंग हो रहा है ना, जो मॉडल एआई मॉडल लगा हुआ है ओपन सीवी एंड मीडिया पाइप गूगल का है, ये हमारा सर्वर पे हो रहा है, ये मेरा Node.js पे रन कर रहा है. और जो क्लाइंट है, क्लाइंट मेरा सिर्फ फेशियल का एक्सप्रेशन ले रहा है, जो बाउंडिंग बॉक्स है वो सब कर रहा है. तो अब उसमें जो कम्युनिकेशन हो रहा है रियल टाइम पे हो रहा है, एंड दैट इज हैपनिंग फ्रॉम बोथ. मैंने दोनों रखा है, मैंने रखा है वेब सॉकेट भी, एंड आई हैव केप्ट वेब आरटीसी चैनल ऑल्सो. Now for WebRTC channel development and even for media pipe development, मुझे हार्डकोर वेब सॉकेट प्रोग्रामर होने का ज़रूरत नहीं है पाइथन में. ये मुझे बना कर दे दिया, वो पूरा एप्लीकेशन मुझे बना कर दे दिया. व्हाट आई एम कंसिडरिंग अबाउट इज़ कि मुझे जो है उसको फाइन ट्यून करना है. तो ये आपके ऊपर है. अगर इफ़ यू वांट भूपेंद्र कि आई वांट टू बिल्ड एवरीथिंग ऑन माई ओन, देन यू कैन गो एंड डेवलप दैट. इफ़ यू वांट अ फुल कंट्रोल ऑफ योर कोड ऑल्सो, क्योंकि जब मशीन जनरेट करेगा कोड को ना, तो यू नो कि यू सम वे यू लूज द कंप्लीट 100% कंट्रोल ऑफ योर एप्लीकेशन कोड. इसलिए एंटरप्राइजेज में क्या है ना, एंटरप्राइजेज में जहां आप अब मान लो इफ यू आर वर्किंग फॉर बैंकिंग और दोज काइंड ऑफ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, वहां पर ये नहीं चलेगा, बिकॉज देयर यू नीड टू हैव अ फुल कंट्रोल ऑफ द कोड दैट यू आर डेवलपिंग. वहां पर अगर एजेंट आपका कोड को डेवलप कर रहा है, देन इट वुड बी अ प्रॉब्लम. बट एजेंट आपको हेल्प कैसे करेगा वहां पर, टू डिबग इट, टू फाइंड आउट द इशू. अगर आप उसको कोड दे दोगे एंड इफ यू से कि दिस इज द एरर विच आई एम गेटिंग, एजेंट विल फाइंड आउट कि वेयर एग्जैक्टली इज द एरर एंड व्हाई द एरर इज कमिंग. सो देर आर डिफरेंट लेवल, डिफरेंट फ्लेवर्स ऑफ हाउ मच यू वांट टू टेक एडवांटेज ऑफ द एजेंट अराउंड यू. यू कैन टेक 100% help from them, or you can take even just 10%, 20% out of it. तो ये वैरी करेगा. बट हाँ, ये जो लैब करना है भूपेंद्र, यहाँ पे यू कैन डू एवरीथिंग यूजिंग द एजेंट विदाउट इवन नोइंग द पाइथन इन डिटेल और नोट जेएस इन डिटेल. But better to have the concept of Python, Node.js, everything clear. Does it answer your question?
Sorry.
Any other question? ठीक है, नाउ इस पे आगे बढ़ते हैं. चलो इस पे बात करते हैं. What is generative AI, Gen AI? Any guess, any tech? I know everybody is aware of it, but why it is generative? Why the word generative? देखो फ्री हो जाओ, मतलब डोंट बी एफ्रेड ऑफ कि somebody will come to know कि अच्छा मुझे नहीं पता है, कुछ मैटर नहीं करता है. If you do not know the things and if you accept it, that's the best place to start.
It generates, seeing the prompt, the whole text related to that, whatever is being asked.
Right. Very true. Any other thing? See, this is just an introductory class, so that's why I'm not forcing all of you to talk about it. But going down the line, when we start with the actual class, फिर I will ask everybody, because जितना आप खुलोगे, जितना आप बोलोगे, उतना अच्छा रहेगा. But anyway, AI हो या machine learning हो, deep learning हो, these are all the different concept. एंड एवरीथिंग इज अराउंड पैटर्न. अगर आप देखोगे ना, इन सब का जो कॉन्सेप्ट है ना, वो कहाँ से स्टार्ट हुआ है, तो वो ना पैटर्न से स्टार्ट हुआ है. देयर इज़ अ पैटर्न. हम लोग ना कुछ चीज़ों को बोलते हैं कि ये बहुत सुंदर है, और कुछ को बोलते हैं कि ये बहुत ख़राब है, राइट. एंड एवरीबडी हैज़ देयर ओन डेफिनेशन ऑफ कि व्हाट इज़ गुड, व्हाट इज़ नॉट गुड, व्हाट इज़ राइट, व्हाट इज़ रॉन्ग एंड एवरीथिंग. एंड ये कैसे करते हैं? बिकॉज वी हैव बिल्ड अ पैटर्न इन आवर माइंड. हम लोग अपने एक माइंड में ना एक पैटर्न बना लेते हैं, और जब भी हम लोग whenever we observe something ना, then we run the different parameters of that entity, of that object in our brain. और जो हमने पैटर्न बनाया है ना, उसके साथ वो उसको रन करा कर देखते हैं. बहुत लोग बोलते हैं ना कि वी डिड द फेस, हम लोग फेस रीडिंग कर लेते हैं. या इफ़ यू टॉक टू अ पर्सन, वी विल टेल यू कि व्हाट काइंड ऑफ पर्सन और इसका क्या बिहेवियर है, कैसा है, वो सब कर लेते हैं. कैसे कर लेते हैं, राइट? क्योंकि हम लोग वो पैटर्न बना कर रखे हैं. इफ़ एल्स जो है ना, बहुत कॉम्प्लेक्स कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ इफ एल्स जो है ना, वो हम लोग को पता भी नहीं है, बट ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम वो इवॉल्व हो गया है, और वो हमारे ब्रेन में बैठ गया है कि अगर ये क्राइटेरिया अगर यहाँ ट्रू हुआ तो यहाँ जाना है, अगर यहाँ फॉल्स हुआ तो यहाँ जाना है. ये सारा अपने आप बन गया है, ये सारा बैठ गया. और सबसे ज़्यादा हम लोग अगर कोई कॉन्सेप्ट को अप्लाई करते हैं अपने लाइफ में, तो वो अप्लाई करते हैं प्रोबेबिलिटी. किसी भी इवेंट का क्या चांसेस है कि वो होगा, इवन विदाउट नोइंग अबाउट इट. हम लोग हर मोमेंट वो करते हैं. अगर आप लोग अभी भी इसको अप्लाई कर रहे हैं कि मुझे ये क्लास करना है कि नहीं करना है, तो इम्प्लिसिटली हम लोग जो है ना, स्टैट्स का पूरा जो कॉन्सेप्ट, पूरा जो फंडामेंटल है ना, वो हम लोग हर दिन हर समय उसको इम्प्लीमेंट करते हैं. बट हम लोग पढ़े नहीं हैं, उसको इम्प्लीमेंट करते हैं. हमारा ब्रेन बहुत स्ट्रांग है, बहुत पावरफुल है, इसलिए उसको वो कर लेता है, पूरा एब्स्ट्रैक्ट करके रख लिया अंदर. सो द थिंग इज़ कि पैटर्न जो है ना, वो सबसे ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ है. एंड जब ये मशीन बनना शुरू हुआ, व्हेन आई से मशीन, इट्स नॉट अ फिजिकल मशीन फ्रॉम द मैन्युफैक्चरिंग साइड, आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट द मशीन लर्निंग एंड एवरीथिंग. तो ये वो पैटर्न को ही आइडेंटिफाई करना स्टार्ट किया. और पैटर्न को अगर मुझे इस्टेब्लिश करना है ना, देन आई नीड द डेटा. तो हमने क्या किया, हमने स्टैट्स को इम्प्लीमेंट किया, हमने मैथ्स को लगाया, और इसको लगा के हमने एक एल्गोरिदम बना दिया. और वो एल्गोरिदम काफ़ी कॉम्प्लेक्स एल्गोरिदम हो गया. मान लो, टेक द एग्जांपल ऑफ फोरकास्टिंग. मुझे जो है ना, एसी का, एयर कंडीशनर का फोरकास्टिंग का मॉडलिंग करना है, यूज़ केस बनाना है. अब ये जो एल्गोरिथम जब बन गया और इसने जो पैटर्न बनाया, तो जो पैटर्न बनाया वो ट्रेनिंग के बाद बनाया। जब मैंने एल्गोरिथम को डेटा दिया, उसके बेसिस पे उसने एक पैटर्न बनाया। अब जब ये पैटर्न बनाया तो हम लोग बोलते हैं कि एक बार आपने उसको ट्रेन कर दिया, डेटा पे उसको ट्रेन कर दिया, तो मॉडल अब तो ट्रेंड हो गया, इट्स अ ट्रेन मॉडल। अब आप जब सोचो कि अगर मैंने किसी भी एल्गोरिथम को, किसी भी फ्रेमवर्क को, अगर इफ आई हैव गिवन द सेल्स डेटा ऑफ एयर कंडीशनर and that model is trained on air conditioner sales data. Now I deploy that somewhere and start inferencing. Now start giving me the forecasting, and now in that forecasting I'm providing the data, input data for washing machine. Will it work? It will not work. उसका जो forecasting accuracy आएगा वो बहुत ही बेकार आएगा. It would be worst. The reason is that the pattern which was developed, the behavior of the sales of air conditioner is very, very different from the behavior of the sales of refrigerator or washing machine or any such kind of thing. So आप क्या कर रहे हो कि आप एक पैटर्न बना रहे हो, एंड पैटर्न को बनाने के लिए द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज ट्रेनिंग. आपको डेटा चाहिए and you need to train it. Now जब डेटा हम लोग देते हैं तो there are different types of training which are available, but I will just focus on one type of training which is supervised learning. इसका मतलब कि आप ना मॉडल को बता रहे हो, you are supervising the model what is happening if I give x, then the output is y. If I give x1, the output is y1. इसका मतलब है कि जो सेल्स का जो डेटा है कि हर दिन, हर मंथ, for every dealer, for based on the region, based on the climate, based on the political condition, based on festivals, there are hundreds of parameters based on which the sales of the data is dependent. But the y part, the output part here is the sales. So we provide the sales data depending on hundreds of parameters. अब ये जो होता है, and that is the most important thing in AI/ML, in machine learning, is that 80% of our time goes into training. And if the training data is accurate, your machine learning inferencing would be accurate. If the data is not accurate, your machine learning inference would not be accurate. So training of the data is very, very important. Ab 80% of the time, as I said, it goes into the training of the data. Then we started with the language models, right? And ये जो pattern है ना, ये pattern is not a new thing. अगर आप देखोगे जो जासूस होते हैं, जो डिटेक्टिव्स होते हैं कंट्रीज़ के, एंड ड्यूरिंग द वॉर ऑल्सो दे यूज टू सेंड काइंड ऑफ अलग अलग उनके जो है ना पास कोड्स वगैरह होते थे, कोड होते थे. एंड इफ एनिमी गेट होल्ड ऑफ दोज डेटा, दे ऑल्सो हैव सम मैकेनिज्म टू डिकोड इट. डिसिफर करने का उनके पास भी मैकेनिज्म होता था. क्यों? क्योंकि उनको भी ना पैटर्न पता होता था कि अगर ये ट्रायंगल है, ट्रायंगल के बाद अगर सर्किल है, सर्किल के बाद अगर स्ट्रेट लाइन है, then this is a pattern and this is what the actual text could be. They used to decipher it. और वो मैनुअली करते थे. This is the language pattern. आप लैंग्वेज को आइडेंटिफाई कर रहे हो, व्हाट इज कमिंग नेक्स्ट. अगर कोई कंट्री अपना मैसेज को शेयर कर रहा है बिटवीन टू आर्मी कैंप्स एंड एनीथिंग, दे आर यूजिंग सम सॉर्ट ऑफ साइन लैंग्वेज, सम सॉर्ट ऑफ कोडेड language, anything. But if somebody else gets hold of it and if that person knows stats very well, क्योंकि उस समय देखना अभी भी होता है, ये अभी भी होता है, जो ट्रांसमिशन वगैरह जो डिटेक्ट होता है, डिसिफर होता है, तो उसमें स्टैट्स वाले, मैथमेटिक्स वाले को काफ़ी डिमांड होता है, बिकॉज दे आर वेरी एक्सपर्ट इन बिल्डिंग द पैटर्न्स. and they can tell you कि what is the next most probable word which is going to happen based on what has happened in the past. तो ये जो कॉन्सेप्ट है ना, ये कोई नया नहीं था, बहुत पुराना था ये. बट जब साइंटिस्ट ने इसको जब देखा कि अब तो मेरे पास काफ़ी डेटा है, हमारे पास काफ़ी हमारे पास कंप्यूट पावर है, देन व्हाई नॉट बिल्ड द लैंग्वेज मॉडल्स, वो मॉडल्स विच अंडरस्टैंड द लैंग्वेज, विच अंडरस्टैंड द टेक्स्ट, एंड लेट देम बिल्ड द पैटर्न. उनको ट्रेन करते हैं डेटा पे, उनको हर तरह के डेटा पे ट्रेन करते हैं. उनको जो है स्क्रिप्चर्स हो, उनको जो है फिल्म मूवी का पूरा डिटेल हो, जो भी हो, साइंटिफिक डेटा हो, बुक्स हो, कोई भी हो, क्रॉनिकल्स हो, जितने भी डेटा है, लेट स्टार्ट ट्रेनिंग देम. एंड जब ये ट्रेनिंग वाला जब बात आता है, देन आई विल अगेन टेक यू बैक टू व्हाट आई हैव टोल्ड अर्लियर कि ट्रेनिंग इज द मोस्ट रिसोर्स इंटेंसिव एंड द मोस्ट कॉम्प्लेक्स टास्क. तो जब आप पूरे वर्ल्ड का ग्लोबली जो डेटा अवेलेबल है, जब उसको आप ट्रेन करना स्टार्ट कर दोगे, कैसे करोगे ट्रेन उसको आप? फिर तो आपको पूरा बताना पड़ेगा ना, यू टू सुपरवाइज इट, राइट? अगर ये इनपुट रहेगा तो ये आउटपुट आएगा, अगर ये रहेगा तो ये आएगा, अगर ये सेंटेंस है दिस इज अ डैश, तो यहाँ पे तो कुछ भी आ सकता है, बॉय, डॉग, कैट, गर्ल, कुछ भी आ सकता है. सो जो लैंग्वेज मॉडल का एक जो बहुत पिक्यूलियर बिहेवियर है ना, वो है सेल्फ सुपरवाइजिंग. वो खुद को सुपरवाइज कर लेते हैं, दे सुपरवाइज ऑन देयर ओन. उनको बाहर से आकर कोई सुपरवाइज करे उसका जरूरत नहीं पड़ता है, जो कि मशीन लर्निंग वगैरह पे एआई में था ये चीज़, सुपरवाइज लर्निंग में, कि आप फोरकास्टिंग का डेटा में बताते हो कि अगर ये क्राइटेरिया है तो इतना सेल्स हुआ. ये लैंग्वेज मॉडल में हट गया. अब आप देखना बहुत बार क्या होता है ना, बहुत सारे हमारे नेता लोग हैं, हमारे पॉलिटिशियंस हैं ना, उनके क्लिप्स आते हैं, रील्स वगैरह, शॉर्ट्स वगैरह आते हैं, उनके क्लिप्स आते हैं और बोलते हैं कि मेरा तो कॉन्टेक्स्ट कुछ और था बोलने का, आई हैव टोल्ड दिस स्टेटमेंट इन अ वेरी डिफरेंट कॉन्टेक्स्ट. तो जो शॉर्ट्स ने, जो जिसने बनाया वो शॉर्ट्स, उसने क्या किया, वो कॉन्टेक्स्ट को तो हटा दिया, जो वन लाइनर है बेचारा, वो राहुल गांधी का बहुत आता है, जो वन लाइनर है उसको दिखा देता है, लेकिन उसके जो पहले का जो कॉन्टेक्स्ट था और जो उसका बाद का कॉन्टेक्स्ट था उसको वो लोग हटा देते हैं. तो जब आप कॉन्टेक्स्ट को हटा देते हो तो देन यू जस्ट इमेजिन कि जिस सेंटेंस को आपने रख लिया और कॉन्टेक्स्ट को हटा दिया, दैट सेंटेंस हैज बिकम अ वेरी डिफरेंट सेंस, वेरी डिफरेंट मीनिंग. इसका मतलब ये है कि कॉन्टेक्स्ट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. जब हम लोग आपस में जब बात करते हैं तब इतना कॉन्टेक्स्ट इंपॉर्टेंट है, बिकॉज वॉट एवर आई एम टेलिंग यू अंडर सर्टेन कॉन्टेक्स्ट. अगर मैं वो कॉन्टेक्स्ट को हटा दूं तो आपके लिए कुछ नहीं बचेगा फिर समझने के लिए उसको. फिर आप देन आई लिविंग इट ऑन यू टू डिसाइड कि ये क्या होगा, what is the meaning of what I am saying. So लैंग्वेज मॉडल में क्या किया गया कि कॉन्टेक्स्ट को लाया गया. तो उस पर लिखा गया द डैश रेंजेस आर वेरी वेरी हाई इन द नॉर्थ इंडिया रीजन. अब बताओ, अगर मैंने इतना कॉन्टेक्स्ट दे दिया तो आप तो बहुत क्लियरली बता दोगे ना एज ए ह्यूमन कि यहाँ पे तो जो आपका फिल इन द ब्लैंक्स है वहां पे आपका माउंटेन आएगा. So you see the beauty of adding the context. The moment you add the context, whatever word comes next, it becomes very easy to predict. उसका जो probability है वो बहुत बढ़ जाता है. और लैंग्वेज मॉडल में यही किया गया. लैंग्वेज मॉडल जो है उसमें whatever is coming next, वो जो है probability बढ़ गया because of adding the context. और इसके साथ जब उसको ट्रेन किया गया, जब वो सेल्फ सुपरवाइज किया अपने आप को कि अच्छा, अगर दिस डैश इज आर वेरी हाई इन द नॉर्दर्न इंडिया रीजन, तो इसका मतलब है कि यहाँ पे ना माउंटेन आएगा. क्योंकि उसको जो ट्रेन किया गया ग्रामर के बुक से, उसमें उसको वही सिखाया गया कि अगर ऐसा कॉन्टेक्स्ट होता है तो वहाँ पे माउंटेन आता है, वहाँ पे ओशियन नहीं आता है, वहाँ पे लैंड नहीं आता है. तो वो सुपरवाइज खुद अपने आप को सुपरवाइज करने लगा, सेल्फ सुपरवाइज करने लगा और अपने आप को सेल्फ ट्रेन करने लगा. तो जब उसको वास्ट अमाउंट ऑफ डेटा पे जब वो व्हेन दे स्टार्टेड ट्रेनिंग देमसेल्व्स, ट्रेनिंग बिकम्स वेरी इजी. it is resource intensive, no doubt. 80 to 90% of the power consumption of the CPU resource are going into training it. But now it is going to answer you at why generative AI is so much common now, why everybody is asking to learn it. वो ये कि अब आपको खुद से ट्रेनिंग नहीं करना है. यू डोंट नीड टू ट्रेन योर ओन मॉडल, क्योंकि ये मॉडल सेल्फ ट्रेंड है. दिस मॉडल इज सेल्फ सुपरवाइज्ड. तो when these language models are trained on a huge amount of data, जो ऑक्सफोर्ड डिक्शनरी का तो पता नहीं कितने वर्जन्स को उसने पूरा ट्रेन कर लिया अपने आप को. So when they are trained on multiple language, on so many of different this thing, they are called as the large language model. And with the help of this context, they start predicting what is going to come next. Now ये जो embeddings है, जो vector embeddings है, I will go into this concept later on during the class. But this is what is generative AI. And I will give you one more example of it. And this is again for one of the real life scenario. आप AC लगाते हो, right? आपके घर में सर्विसिंग वाले आते हैं and they install the AC. Now this customer was saying that we need a proof because we get a lot of complaint that installation was not perfect. Now we know as a company that these are the 10-20 parameters on which we measure the accuracy of the installation, and we say that yes, whether the AC has been installed properly or not, both for the indoor unit as well as for the outdoor unit. Now if you go with a typical machine learning strategy, you would say कि आप ना कस्टमर को बोलोगे कि मुझे ना कम से कम 200-300 फोटोग्राफ दो, आप इमेजेस दो, गिव अस द इमेजेस, गुड ऑल्सो एंड बैड ऑल्सो. मीन्स गुड AC इंस्टॉलेशन एंड बैड AC इंस्टॉलेशन. गुड तो हर कोई दे देगा, बैड इज अ प्रॉब्लम. Getting a bad installation or wrong installation images from a real life would be a very difficult task for even for the customer. Now that is the first hurdle. But this hurdle you can be able to solve using generative AI, because generative AI will help you to generate those synthetic images. वो आपको synthetic images बनाकर दे देगा. Yeah, Dipu, you have a question.
Yes, about the learning of the generative AI, we know that we have a supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning that is based on reward and recognition. So I want to understand that why we are using the self-supervised learning, not going through the unsupervised or reinforcement learning. So that's my question: why we are using the self-supervised learning? So why not fully unsupervised or like reinforcement learning? Or we are going to use that like reinforcement learning later in this generative AI, or we will have to only go with the self-supervised learning only?
See, this is a very good question, and I wanted to cover it down the line during the training program. But since you have asked this question, quickly I will touch base on this one. So, in the generative AI world, there is a concept called as human in the loop, reinforcement learning through human intervention. So, if the generative AI model, also, it is maturing a lot. It has matured a lot already, and it's still under the path of getting matured. Now, this agents, and why that's the reason we are saying that you can't fine tune a LLM, because if you fine tune a LLM, it will become a model. Just जो आप अभी आज AI model use करते हो, it will become a very similar model. But how do you fine tune it if it is giving some wrong inferencing? And that is where agents are very important, and agents are coming out with concept of memory management. They have a long-term memory, they have the short-term memory. If you are using ChatGPT, whatever you are working and you have given the context to the ChatGPT, you open your browser, you open the ChatGPT even 5 days after your first work, it still remember that context. And feedback also, it works in the same way that you provide the feedback. You don't provide the feedback to LLM, you provide the feedback to the agent. So these concepts are now coming into the Gen AI side also, because somewhere you have to correct them, right? Because there are a lot of problem with hallucinations and those things. So these are needed, but not directly in the LLM. The beauty of LLM is that it's trained on in a vast majority of data. Now you can't keep it unsupervised. You can't even have a kind of reinforcement learning and those kind of things, because that is based on the award reward system. You, if it predicts rightly, you reward it. If it predicts wrongly, you kind of give some negative marks and those kind of things. You can do it for maybe lakhs, 10 lakhs, 1 million, 2 million kind of data. But these LLMs are trained in hundreds and billions of data. So you can't do, this kind of machine learning tactics with the LLM. Self-supervised learning was the only optimized way that you can be able to manage such a vast amount of data for the training. So that's the reason there, Deepu. But yes, human in the loop is there. And I will cover it in the stage 2, where talk about the agents.
Okay.
So so that customer, so you have the option of getting the actual images, where I said bad images you can't get it. So it's very less, either 2 or 3 just bad images. So either you use generative AI to create synthetic images, that could be one of the way. The second way is, don't take the pain of training at all. Take the images and give it to generative AI model, the LLM model, which are trained very specifically on this kind of images. And they will tell you whether the installation has been done correctly or not. Give them the prompt, give them those guidance, those organization guidance, that these are the 100 parameters or 10 parameters based on which we decide on it. These are there. Now you tell me whether the installation is correct or wrong. So the point is, even the use cases which we were doing earlier using AI, those are also getting adopted using the generative AI. And that is the reason, that is another reason why now generative AI is very, very important. It is taking over the AI use cases also. I think just give me, I think 30 seconds it takes for electricity to come back. Yeah. Now I will quickly go to the next slide. Actually, the problem is with the electricity. Just give me 1 minute.
We can hear you properly.
Yeah, actually, my second screen has a problem. It's not connected with the this thing. Just give me 1 minute. Just give me 1 minute. I need to change this Google screen, Google sharing. Can someone please confirm if you are able to see the screen properly? the PowerPoint slide?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So this was actually the last topic for today's session, or this was actually, I think Rajesh asked about it. Now, this is a pathway. ये जो है ना, ये pathway है how generative AI is actually, this is a maturity level model of how generative AI is maturing in this industry. And I will take you some examples, maybe one from the manufacturing side itself. So I'll give you the context of manufacturing. Manufacturing में क्या होता है ना, the use cases that we work on, तो वहाँ पे ना प्लांट्स में काफ़ी सारे मशीन्स होते हैं, एसेट्स होते हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल मोटर्स होते हैं, पंप्स होते हैं, प्रेस मशीन्स होते हैं, पेंट के स्प्रेज वगैरह होते हैं, देन यू हैव द असेंबली लाइन, और वो सब होता है. नाउ ईच ऑफ दोज वी कॉल इट एज एसेट्स. हम लोग उनको ना एसेट्स बोलते हैं. और एसेट्स में क्या होता है कि सेंसर्स उसमें ना अटैच्ड होता है. देयर आर सेंसर्स विच आर अटैच्ड. जस्ट गिव मी 1 minute. आई थिंक ना आई हैव टू चेंज द इलेक्ट्रिसिटी पावर. जस्ट गिव मी 1 minute. अदरवाइज ना वो फिर लॉग ऑफ हो जाएगा. जस्ट गिव मी 1 minute. और this sensors na, they capture different kind of data like the current, the voltage, temperature, vibration, this kind of things. Now these are the properties na which decide the health of the asset. Now when we start the implementation under smart manufacturing or industry 4.0, we start with, suppose हमने we build the industrial IoT data lake. हम सारे जो machine data है, we start bringing all those machine data onto the cloud. Now this data are now available onto the cloud. Now as a rule based RPA, we will build a chatbot, and there would be maintenance engineer, there would be supervisor, and they want to understand what is the health of my specific asset, specific machine का क्या health है, how this machine is behaving, this kind of things. And you ask a question, it answers that question. Now you apply the same thing in the retail side, around your store, around your inventory. You ask the question that what is the inventory of this specific product, it will tell you. What is the sales of this specific appliance, it will tell you. Now this all thing is the rule based RPA. This is that whatever you are asking daily or on an ad hoc basis or as a report or something, we are providing, we are just automating it and we are giving it back to you. And that is the very nascent stage. And this is where you start the adoption for your customer. Now once that is done, then you go into the assist one. And that is where you start getting the generative AI assistant. In the sense that if there is an outage, suppose आपके assembly line में outage हो गया and there is an outage, you want to understand that, do an RCA for me, do a root cause analysis, where exactly is the problem. Or if the system reports that the productivity is going down or the quality metrics is going down, help me understand why it is going down, why the outage has happened. If the inventory has gone down for certain items, why it has gone down, which all items are not available. So you are giving a specific goal. You are asking that, you're not talking about a specific question, query kind of thing. you are giving a very specific predefined goal that keep track of that my inventory for a specific product should not go below 20%. And that way, the moment the agent identifies that the stock of your product is going below 20%, it will raise an alert. It will send an email, it will send an SMS, those kind of things. So that's a second level of adoption which happened in 24, very heavily in 24 and even in 25. That instead of chatbot happened in 23, 24. And 25, very much adoption we have seen where we are giving a predefined goal, even ensure that when the outage happens, we should have the RCA ready. So the agent will go and find out from different data in your data lake or from your SAP system or from any other system why exactly this event has happened. Then you have to then coming the collaborate part, which is very important, which is the 26, 27 is all about it, where you are saying that you have to ensure, the agent have to ensure. So you are not just saying that just check on it whether the inventory for a given item doesn't go below 20%. You are saying that ensure. So first assist was that it will raise an alert, but in the collaborate, you are saying that you need to ensure that my inventory will not go down beyond 20% for this specific item. So what you are doing, you are giving more autonomy to the agent in the sense that the agent can now take the action. If the agent finds out that this specific item, this specific spare parts, the inventory for them is it will go below 20% in the next 1 or 2 days, it will go and raise a purchase order. It will identify the next available supplier. It will shortlist the supplier which are nearest to that plant or that inventory or that warehouse, which it knows that which supplier would give me the item or the spare parts or any such kind of thing in the next 1 day. So now you are giving a much higher responsibility to the agent and more autonomy to the agent. That's exactly 26, 27. This year and the next year. These are the things. And finally, the fully autonomous agentic system. I gave you the example of that fleet management. So now it is not just alerting the driver. It is going to take the truck, take control of the truck, take it to the left lane and stop the truck. That's a kind of thing which is going to be the pioneer. It will take some time. And pioneer is very associated with a concept called as physical AI. So in the industry 5.0, there is a concept of physical AI where मान लो कि आपका कोई एक कुकी फैक्ट्री है, you have a biscuit manufacturing company and the shape of the biscuits are distorted. So agentic AI will take care of ensuring and handling that this distortion of the shape or the over baking of the cookies are happening because of the temperature, or even in the welding, even in the automotive industry where weldings are happening, even the water geyser जो आप देखते हो, these water geysers are all welded by robots. So AI will identify that the carbon on the welding are much higher than the acceptable limits. So it will do the RCA, it will find out that okay, for the temperature is high or the duration for which welding is happening is maybe on a higher side. That's why the carbon are much more there onto the welding. So it will send an event back to the PLC. For your understanding, PLCs are the entity, these are the IC controllers which control the robots. Robots का जो पूरा जो mechanism है control करने का, they are controlled through the PLCs. So they go back and control the robots in saying that you don't have to weld with a higher temperature. It will control the temperature also. So AI controlling the machine, this is the ultimate state of this whole thing, which will take another 3-4 years to arrive, and the concept is called as physical AI. So these are the things, and that's how I'm going to teach you guys. अगर आप ये देखोगे ना, आप YouTube चैनल जाकर देख लेना, what are AI agents, what is agentic AI, what is agents, ये इसके ऊपर जो है ना बहुत सारे वीडियोस हैं, एंड पीपल विल जस्ट टॉक अबाउट डिफरेंसेस. हम चैट जीपीटी में एक समराइज करेंगे, एक वीडियो बनाएंगे और दे देंगे. इन माई व्यू दिस इज नॉट गोइंग टू हेल्प एनीवन. मुझे तो आज तक समझ में नहीं आया वो चीज़, unless I understand it through the examples. So that's the whole thing about this training program and everything. Any question, anything from any one of you? Okay, good. So I will do one thing. One more time, I'm just sharing that QR code. Just give me 1 minute. Any question for you guys who wants to understand? कोई अगर doubt है, कुछ है, whether I should join the training, whether I should not join, does it make sense for me? पैसा ज़्यादा है. I'm again saying that I'm not that much into the money side कि जो है, if you don't like it, if you don't cope up with this thing, absolutely there is no problem. You can just ask me for the refund, and I will do the refund. Anybody who has not yet registered, I request please register it. This is the QR code. You can scan the QR code, and you'd be able to log into the Google form through your Gmail ID, and just enter the information. Please enter your mobile number, because I will then add you into the WhatsApp group. So before we close today's session, any question, anything from anybody in this call?
I think this session was very informative, at least. And I'm sure that all participants will gain a lot from this.
Great, thanks Rajneesh. Anybody else has any feedback or anything, or what they are expecting from the training, and if they think that there is a disconnect, anything on that one?
सर रिस्पांस को मैं करेक्ट कर सकता हूँ. मैं दोनों के लिए ज्वाइन कर रहा हूँ. अब पहले तो मैंने एक ही के लिए किया था.
अच्छा, that's good, Bhupendra. Actually, Bhupendra, if many of you guys do not know it, but Bhupendra Bajendra, I did one training some 2 years back, I think, Bhupendra, right?
Yes, sir.
So that time also Bhupendra was there, and that was onto the AWS.
I was able to clear that AWS architect.
That's good, Bhupendra. Anybody else has any question? Okay, great. So thanks a lot. And as I said that I will have couple of more session on the introduction side, just so that we will have more people, at least 12 I am looking for. But अगर आते हैं तो बहुत अच्छा है, and that's a irony also of of our IT industry. Means I was looking at some of the YouTube videos where people have been sacked, they have been fired from the company, and that folk has started a YouTube training where he just bring more and more people who have been laid off, and they just talk about their pain points. उनके views millions में हैं. So I'm always a bit harsh on this one, but I always say कि boss जब करना होता है ना तो we don't do it, and then we blame people, other people on this one. और करना है तो करना है, मीन्स इंडस्ट्री में सस्टेन करना है तो वी हैव टू लर्न. वी हैव चोजन IT, सो इफ़ यू हैव चोजन IT वी हैव टू लर्न. अगर हम लोग लर्न नहीं करेंगे, व्हाट हैज़ हैपेंड टू दिस IT सर्विस कंपनी, it will happen in all the other places. Nobody can stop it. And it's actually a good also, because the organization from the org side, if you think of it, they need their employee to understand all these concepts. ठीक है, I think we are good then. Please register yourself. If you have any doubt, contact me one-to-one. Generally, I do not pick up unknown numbers, but just WhatsApp me. WhatsApp me. If I'm not picking it up, just WhatsApp me for any query, anything. Again, I'm saying कि आपका जो ये पैसा है ये लॉस में नहीं जाएगा. I can assure you. आई विल नॉट गारंटी कि आपको कोई जॉब मिल जाएगा, इसके साथ ही आपको GNI का जॉब मिल जाएगा, बट वन थिंग आई विल गारंटी यू कि आई विल प्रोवाइड यू एनफ नॉलेज, एनफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ दिस जनरेटिव AI. और अगर आपको नहीं लगता है, तब भी नहीं लगता है, तो जस्ट आस्क मी फॉर द रिफंड. आई विल डू दैट. ठीक है, great. So thanks a lot. Thanks everyone for joining. Thanks for your time. Okay, bye bye. Have a nice weekend.
Suchi.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot for your precious time.
Thank you. No
Thank you.
issue. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.